We continue our team coverage from the weekend flooding, including the story of a first responder who was injured on the way to help someone else. And Pike County declares a state of emergency after being affected by the weekend flooding. And if you're using US 23 to get to work this morning going through Floyd County, we have an alert you need to know about.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. I'm Taylor Upchurch. Today is Monday, February 25th. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. Brandon, how's it looking out there today?
So far, so good. And a lot of folks have been wishing that things would dry out after all the mess we had last week, including that flooding going on this weekend. And they're going to get their wish today. They'll take a look at the Whitesburg camera, and we're looking at a nice start to your Monday there across the region. Clear skies, clean sweeps, so no major issues to talk about. There they are, giving us some good mojo to start the week off there as we head out the door this morning. We're looking at temperatures chilly, so bundle up and grab that jacket. 30s across the region when you factor in that wind still cranking anywhere between about 7 and 10 miles per hour, a little bit more than that down toward Middlesboro. You get those wind chills in the 20s this morning, even some teens up into parts of central Kentucky, back up into northeast Kentucky toward Ashland. Take a look at the coffee meter, a little extra on this Monday for multiple reasons, and we're going to see the almanac today. Temperatures in the upper 40s, mid to upper 40s, average of 51 for this time of the year, the record of 76 set back in 2000. I'll have the rest of that forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Taylor?
Thank you, Brandon. As we mentioned in our 5 a.m. half hour, Magoffin County was one of the hardest hit areas of the mountains by flooding. It was not just homes and businesses impacted. Multiple churches here in Salyersville were not able to have service yesterday morning. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked with a few members who say they still worshiped, just in a different way. A community coming together.
And we kept praying it quit raining. It did slow down, but it did continue to rain some. The water began to rise.
Doug Dunn is the pastor of Burning Fork Community Church. He says as floodwaters filled their floor, he knew he needed to act fast.
The first thing was to just get the water out of the church.
Next, Sunday morning members put on their boots, going to work to clean up the mess.
We're grateful for all the help that we've got.
Even members of other churches came out.
You can definitely see the Spirit of the Lord work in people when they come together.
David Jackson is a member of Salyersville Free Will Baptist Church.
We need to have a big cleanup because it's going to be a big thing to complete.
In this photo, you can see water nearly reaching the pews. Less than 12 hours later, you can see the fruits of their labor.
We just come together as a team in the Spirit of the Lord to try to help clean up and get the church back up and running again.
Pastor Dunn says it's all because of the help of so many.
We can worship God in many ways, and we worship God and we serve God by serving people.
As they give thanks, even in their time of need. Both churches say they hope to have their regular services soon. And meanwhile, it was a close call this weekend for one Magoffin County Rescue Squad member. While responding to a medical call, a mudslide came crashing down on top of his truck. It happened around 10:30 Saturday night. Captain Carter Conley says this is just another risk they take to save the lives of others.
And this is Sculptor Show just going on a medical call to assist the ambulance because they couldn't get through the water. And you never know.
The rescue squad member was taken to Paul B. Hall Medical Center in Paintsville, where he was treated and released. And many are worried about one of the town's oldest buildings in Salyersville. The Renaissance building was built around 1902. Many hours of work has helped restore the building to the condition it's in today. However, the flooding has caused some major flooring issues inside. Fire Chief Paul Howard says he worries they might not have enough funding to fix the damage.
And limited funds to keep this open. You have to get grants and stuff. It's not like it's a funded agency.
Pike County is one of the latest counties to declare a state of emergency. They are currently in the process of assessing the damage that happened throughout the county. Officials say there have thankfully been no injuries there. They made the emergency declaration following a large number of mudslides and downed trees. They say every part of the county has a major issue.
Pike County is 788 square miles, and we've got
mudslides all over the county. We've got roads that have water issues all over the county, trees down all over the county, the power outages. There's a lot going on out there over the past few days.
And in Floyd County, an active mudslide shut down the northbound lane of US 23 on Sunday. Road crews diverted traffic into the southbound lane near Ivell. If that sounds familiar, that's because it's just a few hundred feet from where a massive slide happened a couple years back. Crews got to the slide at around 4:30 Sunday morning. It was blocking the road, but it was quickly pushed aside once crews made their way up the side of the mountain. They realized it was much worse than they originally anticipated.
From what the guys have told me that have been up there, they're about the size of a pickup truck, and there's one very close to the edge that we're watching. We're going to try to get the rocks down. That's our first issue after we get traffic moved. We're going to bring the rocks off, and then we'll have to bring the mud off.
Crews are not sure how long the changes will be in place. When this happened before, it took months to get everything back to normal. Right now, the main priority is just getting everything cleared out. And Wolfe County is dealing with high flood water and major mudslides. Chelsea Jones talked to officials as they tried to help people trapped by the damage.
62 years old, and this is the second time I've seen it this bad.
Wolfe County is in a state of emergency after strong storms rolled through last night.
We've had several reports of the roads and private roads and drives been washed out.
One of those includes Shooting Fork Road. Wolfe County EMS Director Marcus Stevens says fortunately no cars were on it when it partially collapsed.
I actually did not have head walls on the end of the culverts, and I guess the undertow of the water collapsed the culverts and give way, and it just washed the whole road out.
Officials say the heavy rains also caused a mudslide. Road crews are now working to assist families affected by the damage.
Hazel Green Volunteer Fire Department come over and actually evacuated 3 to 4 homes, evacuated 1 to 2 vehicles. People stranded in the water.
Here on Shooting Fork Road, 13 residents are unable to leave their homes.
So we're actually got a plan in place right now. We're having rocks shipped in. We've got an excavator on the way, and we've got the crews coming in to make a temporary pass so the residents can get out.
Officials are asking residents to give them a call if they have any flood damage.
Every house will be eligible for a cleanup kit for the flood, and just depends on their severity of the damage on the funding.
In Wolfe County, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
The animal shelter in Wolfe County is asking for help. We're told a few animals had to be evacuated after the water breached their building. They also say they're seeing a lot of damage. They posted this picture on Facebook. And a record-breaking on February. Right now, Lake Cumberland is coming off the highest levels it's ever been. Those levels got to 754 feet, more than 30 feet higher than the usual summer pool. The lake can hold a tremendous amount of water because all of the rain, it's nearly full, and that's the reason for the increased outflow. At the rate it's flowing now, officials say it's going to completely fill the river channel downstream, and there are a few spots below the dam in Russell County that are now cut off because of the extra water.
So based off the increased outflows they're going to have up here Wolf Creek, we're going to see higher elevations along the entire stem of the Cumberland. And we've already been communicating with state and local emergency officials and local leadership so they understand what those effects will be.
In Leslie County, 2 men died Saturday when a car crashed into a creek. One of those men jumped in to try and save the other. We learned a little more about both, David Stidham and Kenny Hensley. WYMT's Macy Marie talked to a pastor they knew.
It was an attempt of one man trying to save his friend.
It's such a loss to the whole community.
When a pickup crashed into this creek, David Stidham rushed out of his home to save the driver, who was his longtime friend, Kenny Hensley.
There's normally maybe 12 inches of water in the creek there. It's a very, very shallow spot, and it was running probably 3 to 4 feet at a very high velocity.
Those dangerous conditions taking both their lives.
I knew both of them from the time they were little boys, and I've always thought a lot of both of them. They were dear friends.
Stidham's family tells me some of them tried helping rescue the two, and where the crash happened is close to many of their homes.
Both of their families are very dear to us, and I just wanted everybody to pray for them because we really care for their families.
And Lewis wants both men remembered for the joy they brought to others.
They added a spark to people's lives that knew them.
Saying they are already missed by many. In Leslie County, Macy Marie, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials say they do not know what caused Hensley to leave the road at this time. The crash happened on Stidham Drive in the Wolf Creek community. And coming up, how a sale of a device some would say is out of date on eBay turned into something pretty special.
While people clean up from the damage from the weekend mess, they are getting some relief to do that, at least from the weather. I'll have the full forecast in about 3 minutes.